Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Josh, Disgruntled Dad, here making good men better while we work together towards a better life and the decline of the American Empire. And folks, I don't say that with any sort of glee or glory. It's an unfortunate reality that we all live with, and we're working together to make life a little bit better together. Today is January 29th, 2024, and today I want to come at you folks with the fact that, we're all the hero of our own story. And the reason I bring this up is because I see a lot of folks getting real angry lately, and I've been getting a lot of screenshots from, Facebook, which I very rarely visit. I actually have a business app that I can interact with Facebook on because I don't want to see all the ugly opinions of people. But it's right now surrounding the Medina County Republican Party here in Texas. Now, this is pretty nonsensical because, no one really participated before, and it gets kind of frustrating. And I hear from people, good people, on both sides of. It seems there are three sides to this issue at the moment. You've got Jolie Clark, who was quite a firebrand, and she was really stirring things up. Made a lot of promises, wasn't quite able to deliver on them as far as raising the folks volunteering and engaging with that organization. And being a Democrat in Medina County is not a possibility. So they've changed some bylaws now that has essentially allowed them to pick and choose who they're going to endorse, which makes sense because just like a Republican going to a Democrat area, they change their party, which I hate parties. Let's be clear about that. I hate politics. I don't like politicians, and I am one. You can't believe a word out of their mouth. Their mouth's running. Anyway, we still have to work together because these people still make laws for us. They still write regulation, and even if we don't like what they're doing, we still have to work together to make things work. You don't necessarily have to give them all-out support, but whenever it's them versus Beto O'Rourke, who just wants to take your guns and ensure that communism rules the nation, well, guess what? We're a lot better off with, say, Tony Gonzalez than we are that option. Which, not the same district. You might be the same district, actually. Tough to say. Anywho, point being, careful what you wish for. And none of these people wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to ruin someone's life. I'm going to destroy this nation. I'm going to pick your bad thing to insert there. No one wakes up doing that. They wake up thinking, how can I do the best possible job? And we certainly have some differing viewpoints. We have differing values, but I can assure you, having known enough of these people, that's just not realistic. So, are you the hero of your own story? I would posit yes. We're all the hero of our own story, and we should be, realistically. My grandfathers were my heroes growing up, though they lived very low-key lives, and they didn't have any kind of major shine. They weren't driving fancy new Cadillacs or anything, though my grandmother was on my mom's side. My granddad broke his back making sure that lady could get a brand new Cadillac, or what's the Ford version there? The Lincoln, a new Lincoln every 2 to 3 years. That lady never went without. She had the fanciest of everything. And that man, throughout my entire childhood, he was picking food out of dumpsters. I mean, he would wait till it was fresh. But still, we grew up eating a lot of food out of the dumpster because that's just all we had. And he was breaking his back to make sure that his wife had all the things she wanted. That kind of colors the way I had a relationship with her then later in life, understanding the sacrifice she made everyone else go through so that she could live in, some level of luxury. They certainly weren't wealthy by any means, but they did all right, and she did better than most because he sacrificed so much. Now, neither of my grandfathers were very glamorous people. My grandfather, my dad's side, when he passed away, he had plenty of money in the bank. He did very well for himself. He invested heavily, and he divorced his first wife when my youngest aunt was 17 years old, a senior in high school, and he never got remarried. So I guess if that's a lesson for any of us, maybe we should be a little more shy from marriage. But I actually talked to his girlfriend of 30 plus years after. It was actually very shortly after his funeral. I went to visit her in Ohio. And she said, Josh, I asked him if we could ever get married once, and he didn't talk to me for 6 months until he saw me back in Pennsylvania one day, and he said, "Hey, Mary, how are you doing?" As if nothing had happened. So we continued talking, and I never brought it up again, but he was not about to even entertain the idea of marriage. I, I find it quite funny, but interesting nonetheless. Probably some lessons to be learned in that I'm not quite picking up on, but my other grandfather, my mom's side, never wanted to divorce his wife. She was just a horrible human being. Still alive, actually. But she can't figure out why I won't talk to her. But, you know, just don't want to interact with people who, well, we'll just say don't align with your values. But that is not the reason we're here today. I'm sure she woke up every day. I don't understand what's going through her head, actually. Don't want to. But we'll say most people want to be good people. They want to make the right decisions. And, I imagine myself creating an amazing life for my kids, and that one day they'll want to shadow me. And anything I might do that's a win for me, then that's a win for my kids. But most importantly is being a good demonstration of a role model for them. And I got two little girls. Got an older son and a younger son. But the little girls, that they look up to men a little bit differently. And it's important to be a really good role model for them, to be present and to take some active participation. And believe me, as a man, it is weird playing tea party or something with girls, which fortunately mine have never been too much into that. Occasionally, but not a whole lot. For them, it's just, well, we live out here in the country-ish. We live in town, but we got 12 acres in town, so we get to walk around our fields and go back to the oak trees, and they enjoy our nature walks, and we get to take care of the animals. We got some chickens, we got some rabbits, meat rabbits. Anyway, we do those things together just because, as a way to commune. It's something that they enjoy, something I enjoy, and none of us hate ourselves afterwards. But it's having that relationship there that's really important. And I strive to be the hero in my kids' lives, the way my grandfathers were for me, because my parents just weren't very present. Kind of like those livestock guardian dogs you hear out there barking. They're very present, always barking. Anyway, my kids don't have the opportunity to be with their grandparents. My mom isn't able to move from Florida, doesn't really want to. She just really likes Florida. My dad's up in Utah, and he's just not in a position where he can move from that just because of work. My wife's family is, she doesn't know her grandfather or her father, but her mother just wants to keep living where she's at too. So we have a lot of stubborn grandparents, we'll say, and that makes it real tough for our kids to have that good grandparent relationship, which is so important. Just because as grandparents, you got a lot more time in your hands and a lot more patience. As a parent, especially in your 20s and 30s, boy, you're just running and running and running because, well, you're trying to make enough money to supply them with the things they want. You're trying to find some joy in your own life, and, boy, it's just a lot. It can really be a lot. All that being said, I firmly believe, though, you have to put God first. Otherwise, God's going to put us into places for reasons, well, even when we do put God first, He still puts us into places for reasons we don't quite understand. I won't even pretend to understand. I've been put in some weird positions, some terrible positions that, why would you do this to me? But I'll tell you, years down the line, I look back, now I get it. I understand why He put me in that position. It was uncomfortable. It was painful. I didn't think I could bear the weight. Almost didn't, but He never gives you more than you can handle, as they say. And, well, I persevered and I got through it. But, when God puts you in those positions, are you doing the best you can to live up to your potential for Him? There's nothing you can do to earn back or repay what God gave you, especially through the sacrifice of Jesus. But at the same time, you can be blessed with a shovel. That hole's not going to dig itself. That path can be made apparent to you. You still have actions to take to follow that path. You have to walk the path. God can't walk it for you. And so that's something I really like to get through to folks is, you can be the hero of your own story. You can be a hero to other people's story as well. But you have to take the steps. You have to put in the work. You're going to go through those uncomfortable positions to build that character and build those experiences so that you can really run this race and do well and win it for yourself. Now, just have to understand, though, you're never going to understand, probably ever, the reasons that you're put in those positions, but rest assured that He did, in fact, put us in those places for a purpose. And as you pursue this story of yourself, of your own, and you seek to be your own hero, just always take a moment to reflect. As you're right, if you're taking a journal even, reflect on what you're doing. Am I doing a good enough job for my kids? That's the thing I ask for myself all the time. Am I doing a good enough job as a father, as a husband? Is there something I could be doing better? I'll ask them sometimes. Usually, they don't have much of a response because they don't know any better. There's nothing to compare it to. Or the things they do have to compare it to are deadbeats. So, yeah, I think you're doing a great job because I see those other moms and dads, not all of them obviously, but they'll see some of them like, oof, they're really not around. So, yeah, you're doing great. And so it's just a constant conversation. Hey, am I upsetting you? Am I helping you enough? Are we spending enough time together? Things like that, just to try and get the conversation going. And actually, I would really like it if, and usually it's just, could you swim in the pool with us a little bit, or could you read to us? And maybe you're 10 and 12. Okay, we're gonna read, I guess. Or can we just watch TV together, or a movie or something? Okay, we don't do that too often. We can do that. Or something I've been doing lately, just helping them do their chores. So they got their outdoor chores. One has rabbits, the other has chickens. And I just go out and do it with them. Help them move the chicken tractor or something like that. And they really appreciate that. We'll chat a little bit about the dogs and the chickens and the ducks and what have you. And, they'll help me maybe tag sheep or something like that. It's that outdoor stuff. It's work, but it's pretty easy work. And they appreciate just spending the time with you. And because it's being productive. And, maybe you play video games with your kids. We don't do that, but as long as that works for you and you genuinely enjoy that time together, do that. But really build that relationship. That way, whenever you're off running hard, working, earning money, giving them opportunity, they always think back, I really appreciate that time we spent together. They don't really care about the stuff you give them. I got a 10-year-old, every time she gets anything, it's on the floor within the day, getting stepped on and ruined. Or she just throws it away because she doesn't feel like cleaning it up. It's easier for her to throw it in the trash than it is to put it on a shelf. She's got ample shelf space. It's not difficult. But it's just the personality type. But they always appreciate that time. And, every once in a while they just want to cuddle up and they just want you to hug them and hold them. Because they need to feel loved. And, that is the foundation of your story, is the relationships you have with other folks. And that's the big thing I really want to convey here is, as you're doing your own story, your day-to-day life, take the time to really have a good, impactful, lasting relationship with the folks around you. And even if it's that county Republican Party, those people are trying to be a hero. You just got to take a moment to understand them a little bit better, build the relationship with them, and understand that everyone's being put in this position for a reason. We don't understand God's plan, but it is a plan. So make sure you're taking your proverbial shovel and you're digging a hole. And you're not trying to glorify yourself, but always doing things with a pure heart. And again, try to understand folks. Understand where they're coming from and build those relationships. With that, folks, I think I've probably harped on that enough. Go on over, check me out at disgruntleddad.net. I can't get the .com, but check me out and reach out via the comment form. Have a great day, folks.